Hello and welcome to Business Matters, the show about people behind businesses that help make Tacoma a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Mike Wark, and today in the Spotlight, it's all about flavor as we learn about a Vietnamese dessert drink with some tasty twists. Then we'll explore the international offerings of the Lincoln Business District on District Focused, followed by Andrew Fry's answer to the question, what's in a name on Tacoma Means Business? And today my guest is Jim Lee, General Manager of Tool Gauge. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
I'm really excited today because I don't know that we've had an aerospace company on our show before. So welcome, and tell us about Tool Gauge.
Well, Tool Gauge is a family-owned company located on just off South Adams Street, just off South Tacoma Way.
Right.
And we employ about 140 people, and we make aerospace parts out of plastics and metals.
And you make everything from parts for the landing gear out of metal and plastic to the bins that we put our luggage in, to the trays that we have flopped down in front of us while flying, right?
Correct. Yeah, we like to say we make plastic and metal parts that go inside and outside the airplane, from the front of the plane to the very tip.
That must be something to be sitting in the plane and seeing your work surrounding you like that.
That's one of the neat things about working at Tool Gauge, is that when you get on a Boeing airplane, you sit down, you start looking around the cabin, and you start spotting our parts everywhere. And it's a fun little game that every one of our employees gets to play when they fly.
Just spot the parts.
Yes, exactly.
And you know that when the plane lands, that those landing gear are really strong and good.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Part of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy built into those parts and design, and they're very, very closely controlled manufacturing processes to make sure that they don't fail ever.
Well, it sounds fascinating. So you're a subcontractor, and who are your clients?
Our biggest customer is Boeing.
Directly.
Boeing direct. We ship direct to Boeing, and we're a build-to-print company. So they come up with the designs, and then we collaborate and manufacture those designs.
Okay.
But we also work with a wide number of Boeing's Tier 1 suppliers as well.
So you supply the suppliers to Boeing as well
Correct.
as work with them directly.
Correct. So there's some companies that make interiors components specifically for Boeing aircraft, or Boeing retrofits in the aftermarket, and we work with those companies directly.
Where are they located?
All over the world. All over the world. We have customers in Europe and in China, in Canada, in Mexico.
Interesting.
Everywhere.
So it's an international company working for an international airlines, part of this huge conglomerate of the aerospace industry right here in Tacoma.
Right, and yeah, we're a fairly small company in the big picture of the aerospace community, but we're right at the very heart of it, where we're located.
So how many companies are serving the aerospace industry here in Tacoma and Pierce County?
I can't give you the exact number, but I can tell you that my perspective is that there's a lot more people that work in aerospace in Pierce County and the Tacoma area than most people probably realize.
Yeah.
And we know that because we compete against some of them, we work with a lot of them, and there's a big supply chain throughout this area that supplies us, that also is in the same business.
And you also work with them through the industry associations that you're part of.
Absolutely. We're members of the AFA, the PNAA, and various other trade associations where we work together with our industry compatriots to promote the business and make sure that we have people coming in, that we have the right skill sets, and that
ways to keep ahead and know where the industry's going, because you have to keep your competitive edge. There's lots of people who are bidding for your products to be used by Boeing and others. So
exactly. Right. So we're in a global market, even though we're close to Boeing. You know, there's not a huge advantage just to be close to Boeing. We have to be good to be able to be in their supply chain, and it's a demanding requirement to meet. And we've been pretty good about that, and we've got some things that we do that help us be competitive on a global basis.
Well, I'd like to explore that a little bit. I would imagine part of it is equipment and part of it is employees. So let's talk a little bit about the equipment. What kind of equipment does it take to be good?
Well, on our metal side, we use fairly state-of-the-art CNC equipment, both mills and lathe, so that we can be competitive. Almost all of the metal stuff that we make goes for Boeing spares, which is the out-of-production aircraft that's still flying.
Oh, okay.
707s.
Spare parts.
Yeah, exactly. Spare parts on the metal side. On the plastics, it's almost the exact opposite. It's almost all production for new aircraft manufacturing.
Oh, interesting.
And so on that side, we would use injection molding machines for the plastics division. Those are all fairly new, all electric machines.
Big machines.
Right.
Cranking out these parts that you then assemble and ship off.
Exactly. We convert. So on the metal side, we convert billets of material into parts, and on the plastic side, we convert pelletized plastics into finished form parts.
Now you say plastic, that makes it sound easy, but I would imagine there's a lot of technology that goes into the material, that plastic material.
Oh, correct. Right. So when we think plastics, normally people think of things like cell phones or, disposable types of products, but our parts are actually at the far end of that spectrum. Our parts are built to last for a very long time.
Right.
They're made out of very advanced materials that don't burn, that don't smoke, that don't give off any toxicity when they catch fire, so that when you're on an airplane, you can feel 100% safe that there's not going to be anything in there that's going to cause a fire or any issue like that. So our materials are extremely highly engineered.
They're strong, but they're also light. I mean, that's part of the race in the product industry, isn't it?
Yes, there's always a push to make it lighter, in particular on parts that there are a lot of on the airplanes.
Right.
So window
how do you do
reveals
that? I mean, do they have air pockets in them, little tiny bubbles?
Well, there's a number of ways to do that. Yeah. One is a thing called thin wall molding, where we essentially push plastic into a thinner and thinner form. And there's some technology around that, including heat cool and some things like that you can do. Another way to get there is a process that we currently have, which is gas assist, where you can put nitrogen bubbles into a plastic part. And those are the two standard ways to do it. There's some other avenues where some of our material compounders can put glass bubbles, microscopic glass bubbles into the plastic, and you can use that to reduce the weight.
And that's where the race to develop new kinds of composites and plastics come in. The research is done by others, but it comes in the product in the form of those products.
Right,
probably.
Lighter, stronger, better cosmetics. I mean, that's the triple threat if you're a material manufacturer.
Yep, make it fast, make it look good.
Right, and get it to us quickly.
Yeah, right. So tell me about your workforce.
Well, we have about 140 employees right now.
What level of education? Where do you get them from? Or do they go to the community technical colleges here in the area?
Right. We get them from from a number of different avenues. So for our machinists, those would be technical hires, which would be in the form of an apprentice machinist, and we would go to places like Bates College. In fact, one of our CNC machinists leads is an instructor at Bates College.
So that's a great connection.
We have a direct pipeline there. We actually call him the professor.
The professor.
Yes.
But then you actually probably have people coming in from universities as well.
We do. On the engineering side of the plastics, we have MEs, what we call manufacturing engineers, and they're the guys that come out onto the floor and help us optimize our processes and figure out how to make things. And then we also have project managers, which are the guys that manage these big programs when they come in, from bidding them and figuring out how we're going to make them competitively and what equipment we need. And so those would be the two technical disciplines on the plastic side. But we also have really highly specialized, trained process technicians that run the machines and figure out how to make the parts as efficiently as possible and reduce scrap and all of that.
Sounds fascinating, and to be part of an industry that's moving so quickly and evolving so fast, although in some ways staying the same. It's a bin, it's a tray, it's a landing gear, but you are forced to stay ahead of the trends as far as ways to produce the product. I understand you have some news. You're building a new factory?
We are.
That's exciting.
This is a really exciting time for us in the company's history. So we've been around since 1968, and we're building our first all-new facility for our plastics division. We have a fairly new building already for our metals division, but this is about 88,000 square feet. It's a big undertaking. It's going to allow us to do a whole lot of neat things that we've been wanting to do, but we're space restricted in terms of adding a larger press size range, completing our recapitalization to go to all electric presses.
But you're also integrating some automation?
We absolutely are. The facility is actually purpose designed to accommodate automation. So we'll have sprue pickers and robots on all of our injection molding machines. We're currently doing a proof of concept program now on some universal cobots.
Yeah, cobots.
Yeah, so we can eliminate so if you have to sand a surface to prep it for bonding, we can do that now with robots rather
really
than
interesting.
people.
So the idea is that these repetitive movements that tend to hurt humans are done by robots, and then the humans run the robots.
Right. So 10 years ago, if you had an automation scenario, you'd say, well, we need to put a robot on this to do, to eliminate this. It's, $100,000, a safety cage, a lot of specialty investment for a job. In aerospace, where the volumes are typically lower, those are hard to get an ROI on. But with the state of robotics today, we can get universal robots, these what they're called cobots.
They do multiple things.
And you can work next to them. You don't have to have a fence. You get close to it, it'll slow down. If you touch it, it stops. So now we can integrate them on assembly lines where we can have a person here, a robot here, a person here, a robot there.
Now, one of the things that people worry about with robots is they're taking jobs away, but I understand this is actually going to help you increase your hiring.
Well, we're going to still add 100 jobs as we grow with contracts we have in hand already. As we expand in our new factory, we'll be adding 100 jobs. I think the robots will help us manage that number so that we can still get quality employees, but it's going to create a class of jobs that we don't have right now, which are mechatronics types, kids that are interested in how to program robots and monitor the automation and evaluate the effectiveness of the automation and cross-train others on how to use it. It's going to be really exciting. Yeah.
Sounds like you're going to have a fun few years. Jim, I think we could talk for an hour here, but we're out of time. And I really appreciate you being here. I don't think I'll ever look at an airplane the same from now on.
Right. Well, thank you for that.
Well, good luck. Thanks again. Coming up next, a fresh look at the Lincoln Business District on District Focus. Connecting people to business is what Tacoma is all about. Today, we'll explore a neighborhood with a multicultural menu of restaurants, adjacent to shops offering an international array of goods in the newly revitalized Lincoln Business District, on this episode of District Focus.
Hi, I'm Amanda Ellingson. Welcome to the Lincoln Business District. The Lincoln Business District is a very culturally diverse group.
We unite and reconnect and form cooperations and interaction with other different businesses.
The Lincoln District has kind of a vast number of different businesses that it offers. We have retailers, we have restaurants,
healthcare, legal,
salons,
accounting.
We have a pharmacy and Lincoln Hardware. Both businesses have been around for quite some time. I think the coolest and the most unique part of the Lincoln District is its cultural diversity. It's one of those areas where you can come to one specific area and kind of experience multiple different cultures. I think the most exciting thing that's happening right now is that we're undergoing the revitalization in the Lincoln District, making a lot of improvements and kind of creating a better image.
And now we're really excited to see something's happening in our district.
During the revitalization, they put up all new banners. The banners have different languages written on them. The translations kind of represent all the different cultures that are in this area.
All kinds of people coming here, different groups, different cultures.
I think the Lincoln District kind of gives off like a small town type feel. The business owners and the neighbors and families within the area can build relationships with the different business owners and their employees.
I believe the future is going to be very bright because we have younger business owners who have a different vision, different views on how to present the district to the communities.
Hopefully this will make more businesses move to this area, and hopefully, it'll bring more locals and more tourists to make Lincoln District a destination spot.
For more information on experiencing Tacoma business, log on to experiencetacoma.com. Next, answering the question, what's in a name, is Andrew Fry's topic on Tacoma Means Business. Choosing the name for a newborn child can really stress out new parents, and you can bet that same feeling is experienced by entrepreneurs choosing the name for their new business. In this edition of Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fry offers guidance for naming that new addition to an entrepreneur's family.
So what's in a name? We know it's incredibly important, a rose biennial of the name, etc. There are a lot of different ways that you have to go about making certain that the name you choose for a company is the right one. And once you find it, because it's hard to find one that isn't already in use, then you need to figure out ways to protect it. And I'm going to go ahead and give you 4 different ways that you want to approach protecting your name for a variety of different reasons. But in terms of the idea of the name, when I started Free Range Media, that was a tough one. I did a lot of research, I couldn't come up with a name, and it was my initial partner in the company who actually called me from a restaurant and said, "We're going to call it Free Range Media." And I said, like the chicken? And he said, yes, I'm eating free-range chicken right now, so it's Free Range Media. And at first I was like, I don't know, but it ended up being a name that really caught on and helped us in a lot of our marketing materials. You know, I was used to very practical names. The very first company I ever started right out of college was called Annual Productions because we did VHS high school annuals. And then just recently, when I opened an escape room company, we called it Adventures by Appointment because one of the things we were going to do is just ask people, when do you want to do the escape? And then arrange for the necessary actor and tech to be there for when they arrive. That's why it was Adventures by Appointment. So one of the first things that you need to do is figure out what is your entity name. Your entity name is the name of the company that the state will be referring to. When you do an entity name on your business, that is where you're going to do your business through the state. Right? And then you will definitely register that. So that's one area, registering your business with the state so that you don't have other people taking on that name. Another one would be your trademark. Now, a trademark of your name protects you on the federal level. So in terms of doing business around the United States, by trademarking your name, you now have your protection to make certain some company that shows up in New Mexico or Maryland with the same name can't do the same business that you're doing. So make sure that you trademark it. A third one would be DBA, doing business as. Now, you don't always have to do that, but frequently you are required to do a DBA, doing business as, in some legal constructs of your company. But the other thing is, this allows you to do business outside of using your own name, especially if you're like a sole proprietor or actually I believe it's the LLC side. But for me, I could say, I'm going to sign something as Andrew Fry, but my DBA would be Adventures by Appointment. That's the entity doing the business. So that's a third way that you can protect your name. Now, the fourth way of protecting your name is a little bit more on the new technical side, which is register the domain name. Get the domain name now, because once you've got that domain name on your company name, no one else can use it. So for Free Range Media, just freerangemedia.com. And I'd probably also register freerange.com or anything of that as well, because the last thing you want to do is get a company, get it up, get it running, feel as though you've got a little bit of marketing savvy behind it and people know who you are, and then someone else registers the domain name, and now you have no website that you can use to go ahead and continue to grow your business. So those are just 4 different ways for different categories that you can protect the name that you worked hard to develop.
Thanks, Andrew. For more tips on growing your business, check out Tacoma's Community and Economic Development Program at makeittacoma.com. When Business Matters returns, we've got some tasty treats in store from a business in the revitalized Lincoln Business District in the spotlight. Today in the Spotlight, our focus ranges from tasty treats to decadent desserts with an international flair, all in the heart of the newly renovated Lincoln International Business District.
Hello, I'm Gabe Rivera and I'm from Bambu Tacoma.
My name is Jennifer Nguyen and I work for Bambu Tacoma.
Bambu Tacoma is a Vietnamese-inspired cafe with coffees, exotic smoothies, macaroons, cupcakes, and so much more.
We are premised in Vietnamese desserts. We do fresh products, ingredients that we create here, we make here every day.
We sell a variety of drinks ranging from like traditional Vietnamese desserts to smoothies, juices, coffees, milk teas.
The shop weathered the year-long construction along 38th Avenue that renovated the Lincoln District. Bambu Tacoma's owner, Wen, says the improvements are a community investment.
When we first opened, it was right when the construction started. And without the support of local business, I don't know how we could survive the past year and a half. And everyone support each other by referring business. You know, restaurants could just say, yeah, you want dessert? Just go across the street to Bambu. And for us, since we don't have food per se, we send them back to the local business.
Surrounded by quaint neighborhoods near Lincoln High School, Bambu Tacoma is becoming the in-place for getting together with friends and sharing time with desserts and drinks.
People my age, especially the youth, there's not a place where we can just sit around, do our homework, or just hang around with friends and family as well.
Investing in the community goes beyond new streets and sidewalks. Bambu Tacoma invests in the youth as business leaders, like Jennifer and Gabe, senior staff at the store.
I am a team lead here at Bambu Tacoma. I've been here since we've opened.
I'm one of the team leads. I'm a barista and I'm also a cashier here.
Business and community are tightly woven into the fabric of Bambu Tacoma. Wen saw the opportunity for sticking with her business plan and holding on to her dreams before and after the Lincoln Business District renovations.
Why not be the first one here? Why not make this place different than what it is now? Felt like it was the perfect fit at that time, and still is.
Lincoln District, it's been growing this past year and like fixing up. So all the sidewalks have been done, all the streets have been redone. There's just everything is like brand new, and then there's a ton of new shops that are in town as well.
Getting your foot in the door is one part of mentoring youth. Not only getting a job, but providing training and experience to become part of a staff of dedicated employees.
When it comes to Bambu Tacoma, we really pride ourselves on the youth, from young adults and teenagers, specifically high schoolers or college students. That's where we kind of cater to.
The work ethic of the store encourages fairness, respect, and responsibility.
You need to give them a chance at just gaining like job experience and things like that, and learning small skill sets, just like networking, interacting with customers, or just learning small habits such as like cleaning up after yourself.
The economic growth of Bambu Tacoma is based on the experience and perspective of the cafe's leads, Jennifer and Gabe, both looking into a bright future for Bambu and the other businesses in the Lincoln District.
I think it's really important, just alone the construction on 38th Street, we just recently finished. We have better roads now, we have wider roads, we just have a better and safer neighborhood, and I think just us being here is really important for that.
Wen also realizes that the investments in patience during renovation is an investment in the entire Lincoln International Business District and the surrounding community.
We do see the changes in like the neighborhood. We see parents walking with their kids, and most recently we actually did a Halloween trick-or-treating for the whole entire Lincoln District. And that was a major turnout because every shop got together and we provided candies for everyone who dressed up.
What I see in Tacoma is a community, a tight-knit community, a very diverse community, a very community that has room for growth.
We want to bring in more opportunity, not only for this community, but also for the younger generation around here as well.
That's it for Business Matters. Join me next time for more insight into the Tacoma business scene. See you then.